Kale woke up to the soft hum of the orbital station's engines, the steady vibration beneath his feet, reminding him that he was far from Earth. The station hung silently in orbit around Erebus Prime, a cold, rocky world at the edge of human-colonized space. Outside the thick, reinforced windows, the stars stretched endlessly, tiny pinpricks of light against the dark. Today was his birthday. Kale was not normally one for celebrations, especially not in a station that felt more like a high-tech prison than a home. But this year felt different. Maybe it was because the station's corridors were lined with banners marking the mission's 5th anniversary, or maybe it was because he had finally earned the chance to prove himself beyond the endless simulations and minor assignments. He stretched and rubbed the sleep from his eyes, noticing the small digital display on the wall blinked with a message. "Happy birthday, Kale. Don't make Celine regret it." He smirked. It was from Rena, his friend and the station's communications officer. She had a way of mixing sarcasm with genuine warmth, and it was one of the few comforts he had here. Kale made his way to the small common area. It was quiet, except for the soft hum of life support systems. He found Celine, the station commander, reviewing reports at a holo console. Celine had a presence that demanded attention. She was not just the boss. She was brilliant, decisive, and feared by some of the more timid crew members. Kale, however, had always found her approach inspiring. She expected the best, and she pushed people to deliver it, often in ways that revealed their true strengths. Kale grinned, leaning casually against the doorway. "Commander," he said, his tone playful. "I think it's time we address something important today." Celine glanced up, raising an eyebrow. "Oh? And what might that be?" He walked closer, feigning seriousness. "It's my birthday, and birthdays are for big gestures. So, I have a question for you." Celine's lips twitched as if she were suppressing a smile. "This should be interesting." "Go on." Kale knelt dramatically on one knee, though there was no one around to see, and said, "Marry me?" For a moment, Celine just stared at him. Then, in a tone calm but surprisingly soft, she said, "And what if my answer is yes?" Kale blinked, caught off guard. It wasn't the laughter he expected, but there was something in her eyes, a mixture of curiosity and challenge. His heart raced, though he quickly pushed the feeling aside. Celine wasn't someone who played games. Everything she said had weight, and he had a feeling this wasn't just a playful response. "You'd better be ready for the consequences," she said, smiling faintly. "Being serious in a place like this comes with responsibilities." Kale chuckled nervously and straightened up. "I think I can handle them, but maybe we should focus on something a little more pressing today." Celine returned to her holo console, her expression returning to its usual calm, commanding demeanor. "Indeed, there is a matter that requires your attention. But happy birthday, Kale. Don't let my teasing distract you." Kale nodded, though a strange warmth lingered from the interaction. He followed her as she led him down the station's corridors, past glowing panels and sections of the station where repairs were constantly underway. Despite the advanced technology, the station felt alive. Every hum, every flicker of light was part of the human effort to survive and thrive far from home. They arrived at the observation deck, where the stars seemed closer, almost within reach. Celine gestured toward a large monitor displaying a distant solar system. "We've picked up something unusual," she said. "A signal. We don't know its source, but preliminary scans suggest advanced technology older than humanity itself." Kale's curiosity surged. He had trained for moments like this, but training and reality were very different things. "You're sending a team to investigate?" he asked. Celine nodded. "I want you to lead it." Kale froze for a moment. Leading a mission to an unknown system, potentially encountering alien technology. It was the kind of responsibility most would hesitate to accept. But he felt a thrill he couldn't deny. "I won't let you down," he said. Celine studied him, her gaze sharp. "I know you won't. But remember, Kale, this is not a simulation. Out there, mistakes can be fatal. You'll need your mind, your instincts, and your courage." Kale felt a surge of pride. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. Humans had always been explorers, survivors, inventors. And here he was, about to prove that humanity's reputation for resilience and creativity was well earned. The following hours were a blur of preparation. Kale reviewed the station's schematics, the star charts, and every piece of equipment the team would need. He selected the crew carefully, choosing those with not only skill but judgment and adaptability. The mission would require ingenuity more than brute force, and he knew human intuition and flexibility were their greatest assets. When the time came for departure, the team assembled in the shuttle bay. Kale gave a short speech, trying to balance seriousness with encouragement. "We're heading into the unknown," he said. "There's no telling what we'll find. But whatever it is, humanity has always found a way. We're smart, adaptable, and brave. And together, we can face anything." The crew nodded, their faces a mixture of excitement and determination. Kale took a deep breath and stepped into the shuttle. The engines roared to life, shaking the bay as the vessel lifted from the station. Outside the viewport, Erebus Prime receded, a rocky marble suspended in the void. Ahead, the stars beckoned, and the unknown awaited. As the shuttle sped toward the mysterious signal, Kale allowed himself a brief smile. He thought back to Celine's words that morning. And what if my answer is yes? Perhaps it was not just a tease. Perhaps it was a challenge, a reminder that life was full of unknowns, and that facing them required courage, wit, and a willingness to take risks. Kale looked at the crew around him. Each person was human. Each person was remarkable in their own way. And together, they represented the best of humanity, the ability to survive, adapt, and explore. In that moment, Kale felt an unshakable sense of pride. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and the unknown was no longer intimidating. It was an invitation. And Kale, like humanity itself, was ready to rise to the challenge. The shuttle cut through the darkness of space, gliding toward the source of the mysterious signal. Outside the viewport, distant stars stretched like scattered diamonds on black velvet. Kale's fingers tapped nervously on the console. Even though he had trained for years, nothing could fully prepare someone for the unknown. The rest of the team moved efficiently around the cabin. Rena, the communications officer, monitored the signal patterns. Her brow furrowed. "It's stronger now," she said. "And it's not repeating. It seems deliberate. Almost like it's waiting for us." Kale nodded, trying to mask the mix of excitement and apprehension stirring inside him. "Could it be a trap?" he asked. Rena shook her head. "I don't know. But if it is, we're still humanity. We've faced worse." Kale smiled faintly. That was the thing about humans. No matter the odds, they adapted. They survived. That ability, that ingenuity, was their greatest weapon. The shuttle began its approach to the source system. It was a small cluster of planets circling a blue star, but one planet stood out, a metallic world, covered in structures that looked far older than anything humanity had ever built. Giant towers of unknown metal pierced the sky, and the surface was crisscrossed with glowing lines, pulsing rhythmically. "That has to be it," Kale said, awe creeping into his voice. "That's where the signal is coming from." The team fell silent as they stared at the planet. The alien structures were unlike anything in human records. They were intricate yet functional, complex yet strangely beautiful. Kale felt a sense of pride. Humanity had always been explorers, and here they were, standing on the edge of discovery. As the shuttle entered orbit, Celine's earlier words echoed in Kale's mind. "This is not a simulation. Mistakes can be fatal." Kale activated the landing sequence. The shuttle's magnetic thrusters hummed as it descended, carefully avoiding the planet's glowing lines. The crew braced as the shuttle touched down on a smooth, metallic surface. The air was thin but breathable, filtered through their environmental suits. Kale led the team out onto the surface. Each step echoed faintly against the metal, a reminder of how small they were in the presence of alien civilization. He gestured to the group. "Stay alert, look for patterns, take notes. Every detail counts. Rena moved forward, scanning the area with a portable device. Kale studied the patterns etched into the ground. They weren't random. They formed intricate designs, perhaps a language or a map. Humans had always excelled at solving problems, finding order in chaos. And this was their chance to prove it. Suddenly, a faint hum resonated from beneath their feet. The glowing lines pulsed faster, like a heartbeat. Kale signaled the team to halt. "Something's activating," he said quietly. "Stay calm, observe, then act." A section of the metallic ground slowly shifted, revealing a staircase descending into darkness. The team exchanged nervous glances, but Kale's determination was clear. "This is what we came for," he said. "Let's move." The staircase led them into a vast chamber, the walls lined with alien machinery. Lights pulsed in rhythm with the hum, casting eerie shadows. Kale's mind raced. Every piece of this technology was far beyond human engineering. Yet somehow, it seemed understandable. The symmetry, the patterns they suggested logic. And where there was logic, there was a way forward. Rena approached a console, her gloved hands brushing over symbols etched into the surface. "It's a code," she said. "I think it's a message. Or instructions." Kale knelt beside her. "Can you decode it?" Rena nodded, focusing on the symbols. "It's complex. But humans have always been problem solvers. Give me a moment." The team waited in tense silence. The hum of the machinery surrounded them. A constant reminder that they were far from home, in a place where mistakes could be fatal. Yet Kale felt something stirring inside him, a deep sense of purpose. This was what humanity did best. Confront the unknown with courage, curiosity, and intelligence. Minutes passed, then Rena straightened. "I've got something," she said. "It's a sequence, coordinates, and instructions. It looks like it's guiding us to a central hub. That's probably where the source of the signal is." Kale nodded. "Good work. Let's move carefully. Stay together, and keep scanning everything." They followed the instructions, navigating through corridors of alien metal. Each step revealed more marvels. Energy fields that shifted like liquid, floating platforms that responded to their presence, and walls that seemed to pulse with thought. Kale couldn't help but marvel at humanity's journey. Humans had risen from simple stone tools to spaceships, and now they were exploring the legacy of civilizations older than the stars themselves. After what felt like hours, they reached a central chamber. In the middle floated a sphere of light, hovering without visible support. The signal's source pulsed within it, casting patterns across the walls. Kale approached carefully. The sphere seemed aware, almost observing them. "This is incredible," whispered one of the crew members, a young engineer named Lyra. "It's like it's alive." Kale nodded. "Perhaps it is. Or perhaps it's just advanced technology designed to mimic life. Either way, we need to understand it." As Kale reached out, the sphere shifted, forming symbols in the air, symbols that resembled a star map, pointing to different systems in the galaxy. The message was clear. This was not just a signal, it was an invitation. Humanity was being called to explore, to connect, to prove themselves worthy of knowledge beyond their current reach. Kale's heart swelled with pride. Humans had always been explorers. They had always risen to challenges, using intelligence, creativity, and courage to survive. And now, here they were, standing before a challenge that could define their place in the galaxy. Rena translated the symbols aloud. "It's a test, or a path. Whoever follows this could unlock technology far beyond human comprehension. But it warns of danger. The path is not safe." Kale looked at his team. Each face reflected determination, curiosity, and courage. Humans were small in the vastness of space, but they had something extraordinary: resilience, adaptability, and the will to survive. "We can do this," Kale said firmly. "We're human. We adapt. We overcome. We solve problems. And together, we can face whatever this place throws at us." The team nodded, energized by his words. They began to follow the instructions of the alien sphere, moving deeper into the structure. The corridors became more complex, and strange devices triggered automatically as they passed. Kale observed, taking notes and learning how the mechanisms worked. Humans were capable of understanding, of improvising, of turning fear into action. That ingenuity was their greatest strength. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shook. A deep rumble echoed through the chamber. Kale's heart raced. "Everyone, stay calm. Stick together." The walls shifted, forming barriers and pathways in real time. The sphere's instructions had warned of danger, and now it was manifesting. But Kale didn't panic. He observed, analyzed, and acted. He guided the team through the shifting maze, using logic and intuition. Human creativity and adaptability shone through, turning fear into triumph. After tense moments that felt like hours, the team reached a platform overlooking a massive chamber. At its center was a machine unlike anything they had seen. Towers of light and energy, rotating and pulsing, feeding into a core that radiated power. The sphere hovered above it, projecting a holographic figure, a being of light, speaking in symbols and sounds. Kale stepped forward. This is what we came for. We need to understand it, not fear it. Humans have always faced the unknown. And this is our moment. The team watched in awe as Kale approached the alien entity. His courage, intelligence, and calm presence symbolized humanity itself. They were explorers, problem solvers, and survivors. And now, for the first time, they were meeting the legacy of a civilization far older than their own. Kale reached out, letting his hand hover near the sphere of light. It responded, pulsing brighter, as if acknowledging their presence. A voice, clear and resonant, filled the chamber, not words, but understanding. The test had begun, and humanity, represented by Kale and his team, was ready to rise. The alien chamber hummed with energy, filling the team with awe and tension. The sphere hovered above the massive core, pulsing rhythmically, and the towers of light rotated with a precision that seemed impossible. Kale studied the patterns carefully, noting how the machinery responded to their presence. "This is unlike anything we've seen," Lyra said, her voice tight with both excitement and apprehension. "It's alive." Somehow, Kale nodded, keeping his focus sharp. "It's not alive. At least not in the way we understand life. It's complex, adaptive technology. We just need to figure out how it works, and fast." Rena continued to translate the holographic symbols, which floated in the air like constellations. "The instructions suggest a sequence we must follow to stabilize the system. If we make a mistake," her voice trailed off. Kale felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. "Then we don't make a mistake. We observe first, then act. Everyone, stay calm. Human ingenuity is our strongest tool. Let's use it." The team spread out carefully, examining consoles and patterns etched into the floor. Kale noticed the glowing lines converged at the core, responding to their movements. Every step they took altered the energy flows, sometimes in helpful ways, other times in dangerous ones. Suddenly, one of the lines flared brightly beneath Lyra's feet. A sharp vibration shot up through the floor. She stumbled, but Kale caught her arm. "Careful!" he shouted. "It's sensitive. Treat it like it's alive." The energy from the machine pulsed faster, sending shockwaves through the chamber. Kale realized the system was reacting to them, testing their movements. It was as though the technology was aware, judging their intelligence and cooperation. "We need a plan," Kale said quickly. "Rena, keep decoding the sequence. Lyra, observe the energy patterns, and tell me what changes with each action. Everyone else, stay ready to adjust." The team nodded, their fear replaced by determination. Humans had always risen to challenges. Even when the odds were impossible, they adapted, they solved problems, and they survived. This was no different. Kale moved carefully toward a panel on the far wall. Symbols lit up as his hand approached. The machine reacted immediately, sending a wave of energy toward the ceiling. The team ducked instinctively, shielding themselves as sparks of light arced in the air. "Quick thinking, Kale," Rena shouted. "You triggered the next step in the sequence." Kale's eyes narrowed. "Good. But we need to keep control. This system is smart, but humans are smarter when we stay calm and observe." They followed the instructions carefully, each movement precise. The energy flows pulsed rhythmically now, as if acknowledging their coordination. The sphere above them shimmered, projecting holographic symbols that moved faster, almost like a heartbeat. Then, without warning, a massive surge shot from the core. The floor beneath them shook violently, and walls shifted, closing parts of the chamber. Kale realized immediately. The system had activated a defensive mechanism. "Everyone, stay together," he shouted. "This is part of the test. Observe the patterns, then act." Lyra pointed to the lines on the floor. "They're forming a pattern. If we step on them in the right order," Kale's mind raced. Humans had always solved puzzles under pressure. This was just another test, albeit a deadly one. "Do it," he said firmly. "Trust yourself. And trust each other." The team moved quickly, stepping on the lines in sequence. The floor pulsed beneath them, the lights responding accurately. But then, a section collapsed under Rena's feet. Kale lunged, grabbing her arm and pulling her back to safety. "That was too close," he exclaimed, breathing heavily. "Stay alert. Every movement matters." The chamber's defenses continued to test them, sending shifting barriers and energy pulses. Kale's strategic thinking and calm presence guided the team through each obstacle. They observed the patterns, adapted to the changes, and worked together flawlessly. After tense moments that felt like hours, the energy waves slowed. The floor stabilized, and the walls stopped moving. The sphere above them pulsed brightly, then projected a holographic map of nearby star systems. It was clear now. The test was designed not to harm, but to assess their intelligence, coordination, and resilience. Kale exhaled, relief washing over him. "We did it," he said quietly. "Humans rise to challenges. We adapt, we survive, and we find solutions." Rena smiled, wiping sweat from her brow. "That was incredible. I've never seen anything like it." Kale nodded, his mind already racing ahead. "This is only the beginning. The sphere's instructions suggest a sequence to stabilize the entire system. If we complete it, we could unlock technology that could advance humanity centuries ahead." The team prepared for the next stage. The alien system, once threatening, now seemed like a puzzle designed for them to solve. Kale realized that humans had a unique strength in situations like this: ingenuity, combined with teamwork and courage. As they worked, the machine responded positively to their actions. Towers of light rotated smoothly. Energy flows aligned perfectly. And the sphere's pulses became steady and reassuring. The system seemed to recognize their success, acknowledging their intelligence and collaboration. Hours passed, and the team pushed forward, each step bringing them closer to the core. Kale's leadership was critical. He coordinated movements, analyzed patterns, and encouraged his team. They adapted to challenges, stayed calm under pressure, and made decisions based on observation and logic. Finally, they reached the central platform. The core's energy was immense, radiating a warmth that seemed almost alive. The sphere hovered above it, pulsing gently. Kyle extended his hand, letting it hover near the energy. The sphere responded, expanding and projecting a sequence of symbols in the air. Rena translated quickly. "It's a blueprint. The technology we've unlocked can be used for power generation, space travel, even communication across galaxies. But it warns, misuse could be catastrophic. We must respect it." Kale nodded. "Of course. Humanity's strength is not just intelligence. It's responsibility, creativity, and moral choice. We will honor that." The team took notes, carefully documenting the alien designs. Every detail mattered, and Kale knew this knowledge could change the future of human civilization. But he also understood the risk. Technology without wisdom could be dangerous. Humans were powerful not just because of what they could build, but because of how they chose to use it. As they prepared to leave the chamber, the sphere pulsed once more, then emitted a wave of light that gently swept over the team. It was a recognition, a silent acknowledgement of their courage, intelligence, and human spirit. KL felt a surge of pride. Humans had faced the unknown, adapted, and triumphed, not through sheer strength, but through ingenuity, teamwork, and determination. They were explorers, problem solvers, and survivors. And this moment was a testament to humanity itself. The team returned to the shuttle, exhausted but exhilarated. The alien system's challenges had tested them to their limits. Yet they had succeeded. Kale looked out at the stars, thinking of Selene's words from their birthday's banter. And what if my answer is yes? Perhaps it wasn't just a tease. Perhaps it was a reminder that life was full of tests, and facing them required courage, wit, and the human spirit. As the shuttle lifted off, leaving the alien world behind, Kale felt a deep sense of purpose. Humanity had once again proven that they could rise to challenges, no matter how impossible they seemed. The galaxy was vast, and the unknown stretched endlessly before them. But Kale knew one thing. Humans were ready, and humanity's journey had only just begun. The shuttle hummed softly as it lifted away from the alien world. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, and the metallic planet below seemed smaller now, a distant testament to the challenges humanity had just faced. Inside, Kale's team remained quiet, absorbing the weight of their achievement. They had survived the alien system's test, deciphered part of its intelligence, and gained knowledge that could change the course of human history. Kale leaned back in his seat, staring at the glowing symbols projected on the shuttle's control panel. "We did it," he said quietly. "Not just because of skill, but because we stayed calm, observed, and worked together. That's humanity. That's who we are." Rena, still catching her breath, smiled. "You're right. Humans have always risen to challenges. We adapt. We think. We survive. And, somehow, we always find a way forward." Kale nodded. He looked around the shuttle at the faces of his crew. Every member reflected determination, courage, and ingenuity. Lyra had already begun drawing diagrams of the alien energy flows, while another engineer, Taro, checked the shuttle's instruments, ensuring they were stable. Kale realized this was the real strength of humanity. Not one person alone, but collaboration, creativity, and trust. "Selene will be proud," Lyra said, breaking the silence. Leading this mission was something else. Kale chuckled softly. "She already is. She expects results, but she also trusts humans to rise to the occasion. That trust, that's what drives us forward." As the shuttle entered orbit around their station, Kale's mind replayed the events in the alien chamber. The pulsing energy, the shifting floors, the holographic sphere, all of it had tested them. But more importantly, it had shown them that humans were more than capable of handling challenges far beyond their understanding. Ingenuity, bravery, and moral responsibility had carried them through. The shuttle docked smoothly at the orbital station. As the airlock opened, the team stepped into the familiar corridors, yet everything felt different. They had faced the unknown and succeeded. Humanity had once again proven itself to be adaptable, resilient, and worthy of exploration. KL was greeted immediately by Selene. Her expression was unreadable at first, but then a faint smile spread across her face. "I've been monitoring your progress," she said. "It seems my assessment of humanity was correct." Kale smiled. "We had to prove it, didn't we?" Selene nodded. "Yes. But it's not just about proving it to me. It's about proving it to ourselves. And you did more than survive, you led your team with courage and intelligence. That's the mark of true leadership." Kale felt a deep warmth at her words. Celine was not one for empty praise. Recognition from her meant something. It wasn't about ego, it was about acknowledgement that humanity, with all its imperfections, could rise to challenges that no other species had faced. Celine gestured toward the central command console. "We've analyzed the data you brought back. The alien system's technology. It's extraordinary. Humans could use it to advance space travel, energy production, and communication beyond anything we've achieved so far. But it comes with responsibility. Misuse could be catastrophic." Kale nodded solemnly. "We understand. Humans are capable of both great creation and great destruction. We'll use this knowledge wisely. That's what makes us strong." Celine's eyes softened, a rare moment of emotion breaking through her usual composure. "Humans are not perfect. But you are brave, resourceful, and capable of understanding consequences. That is why I trust you to lead the next stage." Kale felt a surge of pride. Humans had always been explorers, pushing boundaries despite fear and uncertainty. And now, they were being trusted to wield knowledge far beyond their years. A responsibility few species could handle. Over the following days, the station became a hub of activity. Engineers and scientists studied the alien technology, carefully integrating what they could safely use. Kale worked closely with them, ensuring that every step respected the system's design. He coordinated teams, analyzed energy patterns, and tested equipment. It wasn't easy. The alien technology was advanced beyond anything humanity had built. But Kale noticed something remarkable. Humans learned quickly. They adapted, improvised, and collaborated in ways that no machine or alien system could predict. Where the alien world had tested them, the station became a laboratory of ingenuity and creativity. Rena approached KL one evening as he reviewed a holographic projection of energy flows. "You know," she said, smiling, "we've unlocked something incredible. But more than that, I think the mission proved something about humans. That we're not just survivors. We're thinkers, problem solvers, creators. We rise to challenges." Kale nodded, feeling the truth in her words. "That's what makes humanity strong. We face the unknown. We adapt. We persevere. And we always find a way forward. That's why, no matter how vast the universe is, we'll survive. We'll thrive." As the team continued their work, Celine joined them. She watched quietly, then placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. "I've always known humans were capable of great things," she said softly. "But seeing it in action, it's inspiring." Kale looked at her, surprised by the rare warmth in her tone. "Thank you, Celine. That means a lot." She smiled faintly. "Don't thank me. Thank humanity. You led them. You showed what humans can do when they act together, with courage and intelligence. That is something worth celebrating." Kale felt a quiet pride. The alien world had tested them, but humanity had risen to the challenge. They had demonstrated their resilience, ingenuity, and moral strength. And more importantly, they had done it together. The station's corridors buzzed with activity as the team shared their findings. Scientists debated, engineers experimented, and the knowledge they uncovered promised to revolutionize human civilization. KL realized that this was more than a mission, it was a turning point. Humanity was on the verge of a new era, one defined not just by technology, but by the human qualities that made them uniquely capable. That evening, KL stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The alien planet was now just a tiny dot in the distance, but the lessons they had learned there, the tests, the challenges, the triumphs, would remain with them forever. Humans were explorers. Humans were creators. Humans were capable of facing the unknown and emerging stronger. And in the vastness of space, that was their greatest power. Celine appeared beside him, her gaze following the distant stars. "You've done well," she said softly. "Humanity is lucky to have you." Kale smiled, We did it together. That's what makes humans strong. She nodded, a rare softness in her expression. And perhaps, that's what makes life worth celebrating. Kale laughed lightly, the tension of the past days melting away. Maybe so. But the work isn't done. So much to explore. Celine's eyes sparkled faintly. And I know you'll lead them. Just as you did here. Humans rise to challenges. And you've proven that. Kale looked out at the stars again, feeling a profound sense of purpose. Humanity had faced the unknown and triumphed. They had unlocked technology far beyond their current understanding. But more importantly, they had shown the universe what humans were capable of: courage, intelligence, and the ability to rise above fear. In that moment, Kale understood something deeper. Humanity's greatest strength was not technology, or weapons, or even knowledge. It was their spirit. The drive to explore, to learn, to protect, and to persevere. That spirit had carried them from the first steps on Earth to the edge of the galaxy, and it would carry them even further. Celine watched him quietly, then stepped back. Rest for now, she said. Tomorrow, the next phase begins. But tonight, celebrate what you've accomplished. Kale nodded, feeling a rare sense of contentment. The mission had been perilous, the challenges immense, but humanity had triumphed. And for the first time, Kale felt that humanity's place in the universe was not just about survival, it was about rising to greatness. As he left the observation deck, Kale felt a quiet thrill. The stars stretched endlessly before him, full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders, and humanity, small, fragile, but fearless, was ready to meet them all. The future was wide open, and humanity was prepared to rise. The station hummed with quiet energy, a stark contrast to the chaos Kale and his team had faced on the alien world. The discoveries they had brought back promised to reshape humanity's understanding of the universe. Energy systems that could power entire colonies, advanced navigation technologies, and communication methods faster than light, all within their grasp, carefully studied and respected. Kale walked through the corridors, watching the crew work. Scientists moved with precision. Engineers tested devices, and Rena analyzed data from the alien sphere. The atmosphere was charged with purpose, a shared understanding that humanity was stepping into a new era. Yet, despite the technological marvels, Kale's mind was on something more profound. It was the qualities that had allowed them to survive and succeed: ingenuity, courage, and moral responsibility. The alien system had tested them not only for intelligence, but for the essence of humanity itself. And humanity had passed. He paused at the observation deck, gazing at the stars. Each point of light represented a possibility, a challenge, or a discovery waiting for humans to embrace. Kale thought back to the very first moment he had teased Celine on his birthday, the playful words that had unexpectedly sparked a deeper reflection. And what if my answer is yes? Life was full of unknowns, full of challenges that required trust, courage, and wisdom, and humanity had proven it could rise to meet them. Celine appeared beside him, her presence calm but commanding. She had a rare softness in her eyes, the kind Kale had only seen during moments of true admiration. "You've done well," she said quietly. "Not just you, but everyone who followed your lead. Humanity has a remarkable way of rising to challenges, even when the odds seem impossible." Kale smiled. "We didn't just survive. We learned, we adapted, and we proved that humans can handle the unknown. That's what makes us strong." Celine nodded, her gaze returning to the stars. Strength isn't only about power or knowledge. It's about intelligence, morality, and the courage to face the unknown. Humans possess all of that and more. That is why I trust you and your team to continue guiding this mission. Kale felt a deep sense of pride. Humanity's journey was far from over. Yet this mission had confirmed what he had always known. Humans were explorers, problem solvers, and survivors. And now, more than ever, they were ready to shape their destiny in the stars. The team gathered in the central hub, sharing their findings and observations. The alien spheres sequence had unlocked new pathways in energy technology, gravity manipulation, and even potential methods for interstellar communication. Every crew member contributed, their combined knowledge expanding rapidly. Kale felt a renewed admiration for the human spirit, the ability to collaborate, analyze, and create under pressure. Lyra spoke up, pointing to a floating holographic map. With these technologies, we could establish colonies faster, power our ships more efficiently, and explore systems previously unreachable. Humanity is on the verge of a new era. Kale nodded. Yes. But we must remain cautious. Knowledge is powerful, but it is also a responsibility. How we use it will define who we are as a species, Rena added. The alien system seems to have tested more than our intelligence. It tested our ability to work together, to make decisions under pressure, to respect the unknown. We passed not because we were strongest, but because we were human. Kale looked around at his team, pride swelling in his chest. Exactly. Humans have a unique gift. We face challenges head-on. We think creatively. And we take responsibility for our actions. That is what makes us capable of greatness. Days passed, and the station buzzed with activity. Kale oversaw projects integrating the alien technology safely into human systems. Each experiment, each test, reminded him that humanity's potential was limitless when combined with intelligence, morality, and courage. One evening, Kale returned to the observation deck. The stars were brighter than ever, and the alien planet from which they had gathered their knowledge was just a small dot in the distance. Celine joined him quietly, standing without speaking. Kale finally broke the silence. It's incredible to think how far we've come. From Earth to the edge of the galaxy. And yet, we're just getting started. Celine smiled faintly. Humans have always been remarkable. You've proven that once again. But remember, greatness is not just about reaching new worlds. It's about how we act when we get there. Respect, courage, and intelligence. Those are what define us. Kale nodded. I understand. And I think we've proven it here. Not just to ourselves, but to the universe. Celine looked at him, a rare warmth in her expression. Indeed. Humans have the ability to rise above fear, to adapt, to create solutions where others might see only obstacles. That is something truly extraordinary. Kale allowed himself a brief smile, thinking of the playful banter from his birthday. Life was full of surprises, and sometimes, courage and curiosity were the keys to growth. We've shown that humans can face the unknown, he said softly. And we can thrive, even in the most challenging situations. Celine's eyes reflected the distant stars. Yes, and perhaps that is the greatest lesson humanity can offer, not just to itself, but to the cosmos. The universe may be vast, unpredictable, and sometimes dangerous. But humans have the spirit to rise, to learn, and to endure. Kale looked out at the stars, feeling a profound sense of connection. Each point of light represented a future full of potential. A canvas waiting for humanity to leave its mark. They were explorers, inventors, and guardians of knowledge. They were more than just survivors, they were the architects of their own destiny. Back in the central hub, the crew celebrated quietly. They had unlocked mysteries, overcome challenges, and advanced human civilization. Yet Kale reminded them that the journey was far from over. There were countless stars to explore, endless questions to answer, and infinite opportunities to demonstrate the best of humanity. As Kale prepared to rest for the night, he reflected on the journey. The alien planet had tested them in ways they could not have anticipated. But it had also revealed the true strength of humanity: intelligence, courage, morality, and collaboration. These were qualities no technology or alien system could replicate, and they would carry humans further than any starship or engine ever could. Celine appeared one last time before he retired, her gaze steady and thoughtful. Kale, humanity's journey is just beginning. And I know You will lead it wisely. Remember what you've learned here. Trust in your abilities, and trust in others. Together, you will rise to challenges no one else could face. Kale nodded solemnly. I will. Humanity will continue to rise, no matter what challenges await. We are explorers, problem solvers, and survivors. That is who we are. Thanks for watching. And we will don't weaken to tell scene of the razors. 3000 to what we have not problem and sire. So, Celine gave a faint smile and left, leaving Kale alone with the stars. He leaned against the viewport, watching distant constellations and the alien world fading into the void. Humanity had proven itself once again. They had faced the unknown, adapted, and triumphed. And they had done it with courage, intelligence, and morality. Kale felt hope swell within him. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries and dangers, but also opportunities. And humanity, small, fragile, but indomitable, was ready to meet them all. He closed his eyes briefly, imagining the countless futures ahead. Every mission, every discovery, every challenge was a chance to rise, to learn, and to thrive. Humans had come a long way, but the best was yet to come. As he turned to leave the observation deck, Kale whispered to himself, We rise, we endure, and we will always reach for the stars. The station hummed quietly around him, a beacon of human achievement. Outside, the universe waited vast, mysterious, and full of potential. And humanity, guided by courage, intelligence, and spirit, was ready to meet it head-on. For Kale and his team, the journey was far from over. But one thing was certain. Humanity would continue to rise, no matter the challenges, no matter the unknown. They were explorers, survivors, and creators. They were humans, and they would shape the stars themselves. The future was theirs to claim.